Hello, everybody. This is Carla, and this time I'm going to review episode 4 of season 1 of Lucifer. And if I sound a little chirpy, that's because I really like this episode. As before, in the previous episode, I wasn't really too happy with it. I thought they kept doing the same things over and over, and their shtick was beginning to get a little bit old. But the one thing I've been really interesting since the beginning is this idea that Chloe is actually, maybe possibly getting more and more curious about Lucifer and starting to put two and two together with all the weird things that she's seen, and coming down to the idea that maybe he is what he says he is, incredible as it may sound. And I really just like that idea of how they go about that. And I think that has a lot to do with what I really like this episode. It's because, again, Chloe is, there's this whole thing where she thinks she's seen things that she can't explain. And maybe they kind of sort of maybe make sense with Lucifer's explanation that he is, the actual devil. But she still can't bring herself to admit that it's possible. While at the same time, Lucifer is going kind of through the opposite process of kind of beginning to learn that maybe, hey, there's something going on with him that he can't understand either. And I think this was a really good episode in the sense that I thought the changes that Lucifer kept talking about were going to be purely like psychic or issues of the mind. I thought he was changing his mind about humans and his behavior, and he was starting to learn lessons about humans, etc. I wasn't expecting the change to actually be physical, so I really like that. I love that she freaking shot him. That was fantastic. I mean, I knew she was gonna do it, but I still jumped when the shot rang out, and I was fully expecting him to not feel anything, and then all of a sudden he starts bleeding, and I'm like, oh my god, he's actually turning human. I'm kind of freaking out a little bit. I'm sorry if I sound a little bit too excited. But I really like this episode. It's one of those things where, I mean, you don't necessarily have to like Lucifer in this episode, but it's like he said, you can't really... Humans have this tendency of when they make one mistake, they even make it way worse than it is, or they do something possibly equally worse just to make themselves feel on par, I guess. And kind of the mystery of the day was about that, is where Carver actually totally, screwed over this girl. And in revenge, she kidnapped him, which is like totally, she was going to kill him. That's totally disproportionate punishment, Lucifer was totally right about that. But it's like, if you make yourself worse just to punish that one person who did something back to you, what kind of balance is that? Okay, they've been playing with the idea of punishment because Lucifer is the devil, and obviously he can do it. But it's a point that is made in this episode that humans can't write something bad with punishment that makes them just as bad. It just can't. So, the whole thing, I was feeling kind of iffy because, first Lucifer kept going on and on about sleeping with Chloe, and I'm like, could you just stop? Like, I don't even understand why she wouldn't just suck him in the head. Because by the time he was like, yeah, we're totally, you should sleep with me and whatever, I would have kicked him really hard. Like, that woman has the patience of a freaking angel, pun intended. And it kept rubbing me the wrong way. And then they introduced this whole player thing, which kind of creeped me out to the tip of my toes. Do those things really actually exist? Because I'm almost terrified to live in a world where people actually give speeches like that to men. And one of the things that I really don't... I have strong feelings about this whole idea of the nice guy. You know, it's like, okay, you don't... Just because you're a nice guy doesn't mean that you deserve a girl looking at you. Or deserve someone's love. Like, being nice does not entitle you to anything. It just makes you a regular human being. And if you're going to complain about the fact that the girl didn't look at you, then you're not really that nice to begin with, right? So this whole nice guy idea has been taking a beating, deservedly so, over the past few years, especially because the media kind of pushed that idea on people. Just the idea that if you're nice, even if you're not, like, particularly handsome or anything, if you're a nice guy, you can get the girl, right? Same thing for girls, right? If you're a nice girl, then you can get the guy in the end. It's not a good idea to push. It's really not. But at the same time, it's kind of disproportionate retribution in a way, which is what the girl was doing this time around. It's like, oh, you screwed me over, so now I'm gonna kill you. No, that's totally wrong too. You know, I've seen a lot of things about girls. I've seen a lot of cases of girls, you know, feeling very also kind of, I don't know, morally superior because girls don't pull the nice person card as much as the guys, apparently, or so the media would have you believe. And I like that this episode was kind of balanced in a way. It's like, no, it's not the dude that's a douchebag. The girl is a douchebag too. Okay, it's like, okay, she might not be a douchebag, but she's kind of completely batshit insane. So you don't kidnap people just because they slept with you and then never called again. You go, you find someone you actually love, you make a good life with them, and you leave the little prick to his, you know, he will never feel what you're feeling, so just leave him be. I'm not saying that she had to go back to him or anything, but I like the idea that it was balanced, that it wasn't just the one guy who pretended to be a nice guy and then got his comeuppance, but also the girl didn't react in the right way. So I like that as much as the whole player thing creeps me out. And I really don't want to live in a world where people do that, or behave that way. It's very... I like the idea that it wasn't just one-sided in a way. Because, yeah, okay, some guys do need a little bit help with socialization. Please, find a therapist. Don't go to these player convention crap. That is not motivation. They won't show you. There's no one who can show you how to actually get a girl. It has to happen. So if you're thinking about it, if you're listening to me right now and you're thinking about it, don't. But there are genuinely nice guys out there, and I like that they kind of showed that people can change too, because even though Carver was a creep, he did fall in love with her, and he did want to rescue her, and he was willing to risk his life to save her in the end, even though, you know, she kind of had taken matters into her own hands. So I liked that aspect of it, and I really, really, really loved the whole thing that's happening to Lucifer. Although I do hope that he's let go of this idea of making Chloe sleep with him, because that's as creepy as the player thing. Stop it, Lucifer. You're creeping me out, and you're not really supposed to creep me out. I'm supposed to find you funny, I think, but not creepy. So please, writers, if you can hold back on that from now on. One thing that I really did like, though, because I mentioned this in the previous episode, is that I didn't really get what Mace's point was. Now I get it, and I really liked that. That one scene with her and Amenadiel, I really loved that scene. First of all, I mean, the choreography was awesome. The fight and everything. I tend not to care much for the action bits in shows and movies and stuff like that. But when they're good, they really stand out. And I thought this one was really good, you know, for a simple bar fight or whatever. But it was actually really good. I really liked it. And I liked the play on that. It said Amenadiel wants to restore the natural order of things, I guess. And Maze wants to kind of do whatever Lucifer wants her to do. Even if she is noticing that something's off about him, she can't go against him in a way. And so they're sort of on opposite sides of the thing, and Amenadiel is trying to convince her. And then you realize, hey, as dark as the getup is, and the dark wings and the dark clothes and everything, Amenadiel is an angel. Okay, so he's supposed to be one of the pure ones, right? So I really, really like that she just kind of licks him, and she's like, we don't want the same thing. She gives him a look, and the dude just started kind of freaking out internally. Like, have you seen that meme where you have a person who looks like totally serious, and then there's a text, like a thought bubble over their head with like exclamation signs? That was basically Amenadiel when she licked him. That was fantastic, because it brings me to think that not only is Lucifer getting affected by humans, but maybe Amenadiel, maybe we're looking at some other fallen angels to come. That would be really interesting for me, because again, we kind of see, always, you think fallen angel, you think Lucifer, but what if there could be more? I mean, if one lost his way from God, or however you want to put it, why can't others? So I thought that was interesting. I liked just the implications of it, because I had found them in the Deal and Maze kind of boring up to this point, but I really liked them in this one. And I like the idea that now that Lucifer is actually physically changing, it's not just his behavior, it's actually his physiognomy that is changing as well. He's becoming mortal. That maybe Maze will go back on her thought and think, hey, he may not see it, but I have to do something, and I think the best thing to do is to work with him in a deal to actually get Lucifer back to hell. And I think that's going to be very interesting. So I'm really happy with this episode. I don't know, I guess the fact that she shot him is now going to make Chloe trust Lucifer a little bit more. Maybe now that she feels that she's not going insane because he's obviously mortal, that she might, maybe relax around him a little bit. I still don't know whether I ship them or not. I mean, I have my moments where I do, sometimes the chemistry is really good. At the same time, I'm like, nope, I'm proving a point. I don't want them to get together ever. Not at all. She has to be the only one who doesn't like him like that. And so I don't know, my brain kind of debates with itself through the entire episode about that. So I don't know. Whatever they do, as long as they do it well, I will go with it, I think. And I think it's working really well so far for them. Definitely an improvement from the previous episode, which I did not like. They've given me something juicy to actually be excited about. So good job, Lucifer. Good job this week. That's about it for my review. As usual, be sure to visit our website at thegeekypub.com. We not only have reviews for the previous Lucifer episodes, but also for other TV shows, books, movies, games. We have a ton of stuff in there, so be sure to visit, browse around. You'll find something you like, I'm sure of it. And also, remember to please subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that's usually where the reviews go up first, even before they hit the website. Most of the time, they're up on YouTube, so if you don't want to miss anything and you want to be notified straight away whenever we upload anything new, then you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And that's it from me. I will see you guys in my next review. Bye!